What up, everybody? Morning. Morning. A few that are here. Da, 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 da. So at this point, we're just waiting. It's interesting there. Should be able to see the screen. Cool. So yeah, 5 minutes until that news drops. Let me throw this one here. News template. Then we'll see what we get. PMI. So far, I'm kind of looking at price action already, right? High, low, higher, high, broken. Highest premium holds us, pair that with the 830 as we trade into that. Now we create the same fractal setup. High, low, higher, high, broken. We then respect the bearish fair value gaps, refusing to even get a body near the consequent encroachment, right? All wicks. Look at the laser precision with bodies. We now make a new fair value gap here, leave that open, and now we're moving lower. This set of equal lows has my attention. First here, and then here. This one especially because now we drag it to the left. Boom. Right, there's that volume imbalance that we often speak of. We want to find that has zero return into the wick. Now we've already returned into it, but that area is still going to be sensitive in price. Okay. I got short this morning. I'm going to short right now, targeting these lows off consequent encroachment of this fair value gap. I got in before the news, expecting news to actually catapult us lower into that liquidity. So I want to see this sell side right here. That's what my final target is. If we get, obviously, right, my stop right now is at break even. So if we get ripped against here off the news event, that's fine, right? I'll just kind of close it. Won't be able to get our exit. That's okay. So I guess I'll throw this on here for y'all for now. So we'll watch this together. Just one. Gotten in before the news, so we'll see how this plays out. So we got short, as we said, here. This candle. First candle rejects. Second time we hit it, I want to go short there. Now we're looking for sell side here first. That would be 5 handles, which we usually aim for 5 handles. I don't want to be greedy. What's that? 6.5. Yeah, we won't fight for that extra handle. So I have this here as my target. Since we only have one contract, I'll just go here at this equal low. A little over 5 handles, right? That'll get us into equal lows in case you want to run those and hold this for the time being. I think we should run into that as well, right? Another set of equal lows there, but now we're creating 3 drives lower. Don't like that delivery. Because we are moving like that, I would prefer right at news that we just go lower. We're kind of building a scenario where we may want to actually run back up into these highs, which if we do, that's fine, right? We'll be a wash, break even, no risk in the market. 3 seconds. Bam. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I kind of want this to not get ran, to be honest. Just for my own personal satisfaction. Let's keep this one. Let's create a swing low here. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's what we like to see right there. And with that, fellas, we're done for the day. Have a good day, and we will talk. No, I'm just kidding. Just end it right there. pretty. I had another limit here. So after I entered here, we break structure, leave that. I tried to set another limit at that consequent encroachment as well. Stop above this fair value gap. Right, same idea, same target. Just continuing that bearish delivery. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But instead, we failed to get up in there, so that's fine. Missed that one. Instead, using this most recent one here, right, like that. So obvious bearish delivery. I just want that swing low. Give me that swing low. Give me the loot. Give me the loot. Hey, hey, give me the loot. Oh yeah, there it is. Swing high or swing low. Didn't get to swing high, pissed, to be honest. I thought I had it here. This candle had to run us one more time, creating the actual swing high. But we get it on the swing low. We never ran that low. Nice. So I still think we get in there. But right, this one had my attention more just because it's closer, right? A little sharper line, equal lows. We see how we've respected that. I mean, pretty beautifully so far. We see a 5-minute chart. Actually holding that 5-minute fair value gap too. News is done, so we're going to change that. No need to see the me. Cool. All right. Well, now my attention goes back to this, okay? First, return into untouched fair value gap, perfect delivery. If we close back under that fair value gap now, right? So if this remains a wick and we close back underneath, I would expect that we want to return into this low. But we'll have to wait for this close and then kind of see what we get from there. And before I change the screen, we'll just kind of run through this trade real quick, right? Understanding. We're already coming into the morning. We've created this consolidation, and then prior to 8:30, right, we've accelerated higher. Here at 8:30, we now create a little 3 drive, right? Swing high, then we run that high. So short-term high cleared, break in structure. I'm looking at the last premium prior to that swing high, which is here. I notice that this fair value gap is left with the 8:30 level perfectly. So now as we approach 9:30, we're creating the same exact scenario, right? We're rallying up. We have created a short-term low, rallying up into a premium. As we get there, we create a short-term high. We run that short-term high. We then break structure, as we mentioned, at the lows here, leaving now a fair value gap, clear-cut YouTube model. Right, clear-cut YouTube model prior to news, which is why I wanted to make sure we were going to hold that first. So when we hold this, right, we reprice into it, we close below. This fair value gap is balanced. We shouldn't have to close above it. So as we go into the consequent encroachment a second time, I'm going short, stop above mean threshold of this up close candle here. So like this. And then as you saw, exit right there. So nice 1 to 3. Right, we get tapped in. As you saw, we break structure. Tried to add here, wasn't able to get it. That's fine. Break structure again, use that fair value gap. Finally deliver into our target where we catch the swing low. As we said, we then retrace into the untouched inefficiency only after hitting the liquidity. Makes sense. We hold there, close below, run the low one more time. Lo and behold, we now have equal lows, which we should run those out as well. But overall, pretty clean bearish delivery so far. We'll see if we want to continue that. All right, let's see. Done with the news. So once again, get that out of here. This type of delivery, we're not really, right, we're hitting our objectives, but I'm not a fan personally. A lot of buy side being built here. Even though we ran this high, right, still pretty shallow run. Right, we were fucking around yesterday, but retail traders, right, what are they doing? Oh, trade the channel, blah, blah, blah. So I like the idea of actually running out that buy side again. Overall, higher time frame wise, let's go to a high time frame quick. Now that we're kind of chilling. Notice we've gotten above this daily fair value gap. We go to here. So we've just wanted to see continued expansion. We spoke about how if we can get above that daily fair value gap, this swing point is still our objective. I think this becomes a breakaway gap, to be honest. Consolidation, acceleration through the high, followed by, right, notice this, volume imbalance, never try to get back into it. On a daily, this is a little different. On a 1 minute, right, I'm waiting for a return into this. On a daily, though, more than likely, areas like this don't get returned into until we've reached our buy side objective. So now I'm seeing how we engineer this, right, especially because we create a wick and then we close above that wick with a new volume imbalance. So this, right, same thing too. Never returns lower. No downward wick. Ooh, hey, good interruption, good interruption. Need it, need it. Let's go back, let's go back. Boom. And boom. Which one are we looking at? Oh, I'm not even on a screen. Damn, what the hell? All right. Should be good. My bad, fellas, my bad. Yeah, come on. Shake my head. All right, we're on that daily though now. So we spoke about how, right, we want to see obviously buy side. This is that daily fair value gap. We've traded up into that. We seem to be getting up and through it. I was saying that this fair value gap here, I think, becomes a breakaway. I don't expect price to return into this fair value gap or really this volume imbalance. Even though we usually would like to see that on lower time frames and a higher time frame sense like this, if price really is reaching for something, right, there's no need to give such a deep retracement into these discounts. So for me, I'm really looking at this volume imbalance here we formed most recently as we've cleared that daily volume imbalance. So now let's start working lower. You notice that we've gotten above that, so we want to see if this daily fair value gap now offers us support as an inversion level. This is that most recent volume imbalance. So this is really all I would want to see lower if we're going to go any lower. Right, this I would not want to see actually be traded into. This as well, wouldn't want to see that because we spoke about how here we wanted to see price reach into that, but notice, never got to close below that sell side. That was kind of our indication. We flirted with the fair value gap, no close ever below it, so no need to force our objective. That's why we caught the buys up. Same idea now, not trying to force no objective. Low key, I kind of want to try to turtle soup this. If we run out this low, this is a protected low here in my eyes. Run out that low, come back for equal highs. Recap. Oh, I gave the recap? Another recap. I think I just read that message late. Okay. I was like, I think I gave it. So as you said, right, building a lot of buy side here, but these equal lows is too suspect for me now. We already have equal lows, as we said. This is going to be a key area in price. And I actually missed it the first time. It was already a key area, but now it's even more important because it's as we're leaving that daily, right? That's not a surprise or that's not a coincidence. We engineer the signature as we leave a daily fair value gap. And that area absolutely holds us with laser precision so far. So now, here's where we're getting tough. We can run from the daily fair value gap. We've really repriced into the inefficiency we need to, right? We fully hit that volume imbalance. Even though those equal lows, we don't want to get caught in something where we're laser focused on those lows being ran. So what I need to do now, there's no inefficiencies in here. I'll use this 30-second quickly. But kind of like we were just speaking about, even though we have equal lows here, if price is showing that it has no intention of returning into that at this point, right? We don't want to get stuck thinking price is going to return down here all morning. We've obviously created sell side and sell side, right? We ran the sell side. Let me just kind of draw all the sell side so far. All right, so I'm going to start even really from here. Sell side here, right? We run that. This low gets ran. This becomes external range. This low gets ran, right? This low gets ran. These equal lows get ran. These equal lows get ran. Short-term low here now gets ran. Equal low here now gets ran. So even though we have equal lows, we have cleared quite a lot of sell-side liquidity on this move lower. Even though it's ugly delivery, sell-side liquidity is the primary kind of objective that we've been running. As we said, 30-second chart here, so pretty low time frame. But that's the only inefficiency I'm seeing. Like on a 1 minute, we don't have anything in here really. We do have immediate rebalances. We go like a maybe higher time frame can help us out. 5 minute, nothing. So on this whole leg, right, that's why we're tough. This whole leg, there's zero inefficiencies really on any of the time frames. 15 minute, 15, there's a volume imbalance, so maybe. But anything lower, right, 5, 2, 1, all the inefficiencies have been refilled. Which makes me think if we do want to start going up, we should just run right through these highs. What I want to do is look at, I'm going to use, we're going to use this here, this volume imbalance as my key area right now. So if we can get above that, I think we continue higher. So because we're still holding that, we can't actually get into those lows. I do want to see, let's tape read this here. I'd be very interested on the potential turtle soup. All right, so I would look for, as we run those lows, to actually hold this original structure here. This low, which means stop can go just right there, 2.5. Then obviously for 5, we go here, but I like the idea of potentially coming all the way back up. At the moment, we have NQ pretty, going higher. NQ going higher. ES moving lower. Let's try a paper trade here. I want to see if we can get this soup. See if we soup up. Running that sell side, because right, I'm going to quickly show you NQ here. So NQ has slowly been trudging higher as we've moved lower here in ES. So really opposing, right? We don't necessarily see that too often, where they are out of sync like this. One's going up, one's going down. Ugly price action either way. But I think that if we do run this low out, especially because we're so far away from an NQ, that's a quick run and then a reversal. Obviously, right, we can run this out. NQ can kind of catch up, resume bearishness, and just plummet. We've seen that. But I want to watch what happens here now. So really, we should get rather quick feedback, because now that we've gone through these equal lows, right, if price wants to reach for this, it's going to reach for it immediately. Kind of like we see here. So either way, right? Good instant feedback. We've now cleared a pretty major area of liquidity. How this candle closes will be telling, as we mentioned, right? If we want to run straight for this, we're going to do that. Okay, so that's fine. That's why we stay on paper. A little higher risk, not guaranteed. So now that we've ran this sell side, still going to wait for this close. We've actually got out most of the sell side. We do have, was London low. So we have London's low here. If we actually close, that might be a good indication to start looking for the short, to be honest. So let's wait here. Let's wait for a falling or a fair value gap to form. But now I'm looking at this, really, this whole structure from this high to this low, all the way up to this high. We close below that as well. Notice that on the 1 minute. So we close below both these levels. Displacement. Yeah, I want to see a fair value gap get left here. And then the possibility of using that to run shorter. 5. Cool, relative equal highs there at the high. SMT with NQ is the only issue, right? We ran, so once again, let me go back to NQ. 5 minute chart we're looking at. Lower high, higher high. So SMT here, inside the bearish fair value gap. Honestly, NQ a lot cleaner in the price action it's giving. Right, YouTube model here, whereas here, I mean, not really. We were able to get short, but we had to use kind of advanced entries. Whereas here, that's pretty clear cut. But still now, right, notice in relativity, so we've cleared this low from 525, whereas in NQ, have we cleared that low? We already have. Okay, so now we've kind of caught back up. Seeing this now, I actually would expect NASDAQ to continue that. So I think we're pretty heavy. So that idea of going for highs, we may have to reassess that, and that's fine. As we mentioned, this run here did clear out buy side here and here, hit that inefficiency, the only untapped inefficiency in this whole leg. So once again, right, 0 inefficiencies left behind. We hold that most recent volume imbalance. We close underneath. Heading into 10 o'clock. Okay. I do want to see if we can't find possible re-entry. I was like, we might try something in NQ here, to be honest. Let's see here. I'm looking at this in NQ right now. So obviously ES has kind of led the way now to the downside. As we mentioned, SMT at the highs. We're in that silver bullet window, 10 to 11. I'm looking at this fair value gap here in NQ. Because we haven't even ran out this low yet. Right, we have equal lows sitting here. Which this low is this low. So we're a huge disparity right now. Right, if we look at this. This is where we are in ES compared to obviously here in NQ. So I want to see what we do within this fair value gap. Watching that. Also watching this area. So the area between this low and this volume imbalance now. So we'll look at both of these. If we get a situation where we inverse this, we may want to look for something long. All right, so we did invert that while at the same time hitting this. So I watch now consequent encroachment here if we're going to accelerate actually for that high. To be fair, we shouldn't have ran through this if we want this low. So getting through this leads me to believe this high here is next. Which means that if that inverts and this inverts, we may be able to now SMT at the lows. Kind of wish we would have took that, to be honest. Too slow though. I had a limit set in NQ once again, right? So we left this fair value gap off this inversion. Had a limit set at that, but we should have just used the inversion immediately. That's fine. Going back for 830 for sure. Which means in ES, we might be able to, if we close above this now, let's see what we would get here. It's tough because we would need this to become a breakaway gap, which could be possible. Okay. I don't mind that actually. We've now ran the high again. We'll try this out here. So I'd want this right entry requires this fair value gap here actually become breakaway. So don't want to see this fair value gap be traded into. Instead, we would favor inversion hold running into, let's see if we get all the way up here. There's no inefficiencies in here. Okay, holding well so far. So there's the tap and okay, interesting. NQ just bounced off 830. We are really not. Let's see here. ES leading us lower. Did we get? Oh, so we got into that. Right, we get into that fair value gap. Wanted to see that be a breakaway. Give a deeper retracement. Just high resistance though. Let's see, dollar going up. Don't really care about dollar too much. NQ and ES, we held that fair value gap. Let's see if we hold that. Nice volume balance, okay. Okay. I got long. Um, that's kind of ambitious. I don't know if we get here, but I'm trying to think if I want to just go for 5. 5 handles would put us right at this volume balance, which how we're moving, right? I don't know if, look at that entry though. Oh my goodness. I think that so we have this here. Since we have that, candle where we enter, we go like this, then we go here. Okay. What we'll do is, I'm just really debating. I wish I would have had 2 here. So there's 5 right there. What do we do? 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 Closed it. I'm fine. I'm content. Close it at 5. Give me the swing high. Could have went for this buy side here. I think we get into that, but with just how we're moving, I'm fine. I'm fine here at this volume imbalance. Okay. So let's see with this reaction now. Let's hold this. Let's come back into this volume imbalance quick and bounce from here after running out this equal low. Run that into the volume imbalance that was never revisited into the mitigation block after holding. So far we're pretty bullish. Right, as we often speak, breakers turn into mitigation blocks in bullish environments. Low, high, lower, low, broken. Right, breaker holds, which then turns into the mitigation block, right? Low, high, higher, low, broken through that. Now mitigation block should hold. Pair that with volume imbalance and equal lows sitting there. Swing low entry, swing high exit. Never gets old. Never gets old. 1 minute swing high. Wait for it. Yes, sir. 1 minute swing high as well. Okay. So we should get into that buy side, I think. We could probably buy from there. Buy from here. I'm fine. No need to chase. If I was going to buy again, I'd wait for a retracement into this. And if we didn't get that, and instead we ran straight into our objective of the 830, we just miss it. That's cool. So far, pretty easy morning. Just one. Down. Now looking for it back up. Let's go back to that 30-second real quick. Order block here. We'll tape read this like this. High frequency trading algo scalp. And that's what we mean, right? When I mentioned that the other day with that video, ICT, what that means is if price is in a bullish macro, right? Any discount, these algos are just going to smash buys here. It's going to continue to print higher off of the most recent discounts formed, right? So areas like this get left open. Fair value gaps like this get left open. Volume imbalances here like this get left open, right? We only use the most recent discount. And that's what I mean here. Equal lows. Right now we have this order block. So we'll follow this and see if we're doing that. I'm not comfortable entering on it. Like I mentioned, I'd rather enter here, just personal preference. You've seen me enter here before. You can do that if you're fine. For me, I just like that better entry here lower, which allows for more target potential, we'll say. Now, because if we enter here, 5 handles will get us to this high, whereas entry here, right, with the stop underneath that fair value gap, obviously gives you a lot better risk to reward. Go back to that 1 minute. So now equal highs here. Okay. So equal highs. And now we're pairing that with still this fair value gap. Never came into it. Volume imbalance. I like that. We did something. 2.5 would be to that candle's low. Clear out the equal high would be there. Okay. What do we do now? I'm pulling. Am I pulling it? Am I pulling? I had a limit order. Okay. Right on the volume imbalance. Pulled it. Pulled it. I pulled it. Had the limit here. We fall short of here. We could still get into it. But wicking like this and then overtaking that wick, I wouldn't necessarily want to see that price action if I want higher prices. So what I will do is if we hold from here, I'll probably jump onto a lower time frame and look for a lower time frame fractal to now take higher. Ooh, but we have equal lows there. Oh, this shit is tempting. Hmm. Do I? To be or not to be? NQ at all-time highs. Do we go? 5. Let me see a 5. Ooh. That's clean. Really engineering that liquidity. Man, this is, you know what? Like I said, all right. So now, ah, we may have missed it, fellas. Go to the 1 minute. We go here. One minute close above. I still like that area, to be honest. We haven't hit this buy side yet. So you know what? If we do come into here, We're gonna go like this. I'm thinking we're gonna hold this volume balance now though. Because right, we get above it once, early indication we want to, or we're willing to get above it anyways, right? That's important. We then retrace into that discount and then get above it again. So now we should actually hold from this volume imbalance, especially this swing low here. Look at this swing low. So I'm gonna look at this swing low. We should hold here, equal high again. Yeah, we're gonna run that. I think we run straight into that. Right, it should, honestly. Geez, that's what we want. Ooh, 1 minute. Low, high, lower, low, breaker. Oh yeah, we're going down. So right, this is a breaker here. We get above it, we return lower, but notice this, okay? The bodies hold the breaker as we get into that fair value gap, which is why we don't actually need to get into this. Okay. I think we miss it, but that's okay. We'll follow it as we reach our objective. So there's our buy side. Nice. We now look at this here. We zoom in. Baby fair value gap. Zwing. Right there. We look at that. Fair value gap paired with old high. Broken through, displacing. Look in this range. 0 inefficiencies. None. From low to high. So now if we're going to write be this type of delivery, immediate rebalance. This is as low as we go. We accelerate through this candle to get into this high. But first we're going to run into resistance here. So we're going to hesitate to get through this. Maybe play around a few candles, accelerate through that, use it as support to get into 830. That's my outlook right there. That is my outlook right there. Now we watch and see. Shoo-be-doo-doo-doo. YM not moving. I'll take a peek at YM. We'll look around at some markets. NQ still trudging higher. I was about to short this. I was pissed I didn't get that inversion. When I went to short, close it as soon as we close above, went to flip inversion, didn't get the entry, which is why I entered on ES instead. And Q would have been beautiful into that high, but it's all right. YM vibing. Dollar starting to vibe here, consolidate. Oh, dollar hit the, oh, okay. So we actually should, as we said, right? Hesitation here, no lower than this. Wicks, okay, we don't care about wicks. Bodies, right? We're watching the bodies here. Bodies have closed on the low. Once again, right? Falling into that resistance, we can expect that. So back into the high resistance here. All today in general, high resistance. Shorts were high resistance into our target. Longs were high resistance. Actually, not really. This long is pretty low resistance. Got up there pretty quick. But into external ranges, right? It's going to be high resistance. Once again, though, even though it looks scary, bodies, right? Bodies tell the story. As long as we hold this, I'm still looking for higher prices. Hesitation here is expected, right? We've been bouncing off that plenty of times. If we get through that, that should be a clear-cut indication we're free to continue to print. I'm going to watch this here. No entry, just purely tape read. The volume rebalance entry. We're not using it because, right, volume balance entries require an understanding or a predisposed market that is moving in a given direction. To where, sure, we're moving higher, but, right, a lot of give and take. So volume imbalances formed like this aren't necessarily going to create that breakaway momentum that we would normally expect, which is why I'm not using the actual volume imbalance entry here. Right, in a predisposed market, we would. Shadow, when you get a minute, could you go over the breaker turning into mitigation theory? Oh yeah, no problem. We'll do that since we're just vibing. So more often than not, right, if we'll say the stars align, right, if market structure is putting in readable price, it just makes sense that we put in a low. This is for like a reversal, right? We put in that low, we clear that low, and then we break structure. So this right here is the breaker you're used to, right? Low, high, we'll put this here even. Low, high, lower, low, broken. We would now expect this breaker to hold us. So now let's imagine, right, if we are bullish and this breaker wants to hold us, well, in theory, that means that this low should not be broken if this breaker holds. Which is why I say in, right, bullish markets, you will often see, I guess you could flip it for bearish, but in a trending market anyways, you'll often see that breaker block turn into a mitigation block because when we now retrace into the breaker, right, we should hold that, whether it be the high, the consequent encroachment, could even be the low, like we saw here. But regardless, this breaker should hold, leaving this low in place as we then break structure again. Right, and of course it won't be this clean. There will be micro kind of structure in here. This is just a higher time frame structure. But now, as we hold this breaker, and then we come in and hold this low and break again, right, this high here becomes the mitigation block. Because as we know, the breaker is a low, a high, a low broken, while the mitigation block is a low, high, higher low broken. So we should often see, right, if we are on sides, if we do expect that we are reversing, breakers should turn into mitigation blocks, which then is where that second stage of accumulation takes place as we return into it, right? And then we look for something. And this is really where most of my trades come from, to be honest. Right, the middle of the move. I'm not someone that necessarily tries to catch bottoms and tops, and we've talked about that. To where we can, for me though, I like confirmation. And that comes here, right? Once we confirm the breaker, hold the breaker, break again, usually leaving behind another discount, And that is where most of our injuries come, as then, right, we attack. So like here, really that's what it was. Low, high, lower, low gets broken. Breaker, even though it's ugly, right? We then create this low to this high that gets broken here. So now this low holds us, right? We have the mitigation block and we get up into our objective there. But hopefully that makes sense, right? It's always an if then. In high probability conditions, breakers will almost always turn into the form of a mitigation block because it will respect the structure that takes place. Look at that there though, right? So as we said, volume imbalance ends up closing, but it still holds. The actual fair value gap itself held. So we could have used that to get long. I'm fine not. Because like as we said, right, to get 5 handles, we still would need to be all the way up here through the highs. We could have went long here, to be honest. Probably could have, but that's fine. Wanted to be too precise. So now we look here, right? This is now new long. Right? We just follow the discounts, as we say. In this type of delivery, most recent discounts hold us until the final buy side objective is met. In my opinion, that's this high. It could be this one as well. But for low hanging fruit, right, we're going just for this high here, formed at 930. So now that means this holds us. It accelerates us into the high, as we spoke about, right? We would expect hesitation, followed by the expansion, followed by the retracement into it to offer us the inversion, followed by the continued expansion into the buy side. Bam. Well, all right. Boom. Honestly, right? That was ugly delivery, but easy to read, if that makes sense. I think y'all get what I'm saying. Right? We not, I mean, from really here, we called out every single move that would take place until we got here. So even though it was choppy, as far as the readability of it, pretty clear cut, right? What we were doing, what the plan was. For me, that'll be really all. Let's see if we can keep it going though. So now we look here, okay? Follow that. But for us, yeah, we'll kind of call it there, to be honest. Good trade, Brisk. Hell yeah. So you use the inversion. See, let's go. Now we go. Let's go to that daily. What's my daily level at? Uh, uh. Yeah, it is surprising. We are gone. But I mean, it makes sense. Because why? This is a daily area. The most extreme moves are going to take place at daily areas, okay? So now if I go to a daily chart and show you, now let's use the 1 hour. It makes sense that, right, we get above that daily, we wick into the fair value gap within, and this daily is going to offer us a pretty aggressive expansion if buy side is the objective. Well, goddamn. As we said, though, notice no retracements, really. That would have been the only entry. Could have took it. Should have. Watch this, to be honest. If we're super bullish, this is a volume bounce entry here. Beautiful leg up. That shit was pretty clean, huh? Pure buy side delivery there off that breaker. And as you said, for those that don't understand what he's taking, we take that manipulation leg. You project the manipulation leg. First of all, I would take this one and this one, right? It depends on what you're taking, Jay. I like this, full manipulation. Secret projection is you actually take the breaker itself, like this. Look at that. Third standard, okay. Where do we stop? Well, first we hit the second one with a wick perfectly. Third, we wick as well perfectly. Good night, Brisk. I'll catch you tomorrow, my dog. At, wait, what time? Let me see. News tomorrow at 8:20. That's a weird time. Oh, 8:30. Okay. Okay. So normal live stream tomorrow, 9:25 Eastern. That closed in, so close. What's that there? Just want to see what we do here heading into 11. Hey, no problem, Hodge. See you tomorrow, my dog. Oh, right through it. Okay. That's fine. I'll wrap it up then. We'll do a quick recap of kind of our morning, however, and then we'll call it a day. So we're going to clear up a lot of this ugliness, really bring out exactly what it was that we are looking at ourselves. Bang, bang. So for us, right, as we mentioned earlier, clear that and clear that. That's the external range buy side. So first entry this morning comes before the high impact news. If you just look at this, right, obvious YouTube model. Short-term high cleared, followed by a break in structure at the low with displacement. That's important. Right, displacement, and as we mentioned, what I like to see is this fair value gap is formed in line with the actual lows here. So we leave that fair value gap. Also important, this YouTube model is forming inside of an already determined bearish YouTube model as well. Right, so we're starting to stack the premium arrays, which is what we want to see in a fractalized market. We hold that 830, we then break structure. We wick into that fair value gap and hold it with a candle body, confirming that we want to continue lower. We enter on consequent encroachment, get one more stab up, but look at the bodies there, perfect precision, right? Not once getting above even the low of that. And then we deliver into our exit. So we get that swing low exit at these equal lows, catch the swing low, give a slight retracement first, engineer equal lows, and then we run right through sell side here and then that external range that we were looking at. Right, once we do that, I'm looking at now this bearish volume or bearish fair value gap, the last premium. We trade up and through that with a bullish, while at the same time now, right, we're making a bullish fair value gap, we're engineering an inversion fair value gap, and we have a volume imbalance. So we've created 3 discounts at an area of old liquidity, right? That's also important. If I was to drag out this sell side pool, it's the volume imbalance. So we've purged and revert, right? That's what that idea is. So as we retrace into the volume imbalance paired with that fair value gap, I'm going long. So now we catch the swing low as well. Our target here, simply 5 handles, which aligns really with, right, this candle's high, this fair value gap. So we get out at that high. And then for us, that was really all. Right, taking the swing low up into the swing high. We still had obvious buy side objectives. At that point, we just followed price. So we retrace into the fair value gap. We get back above the breaker, hold the breaker. As we mentioned, once we get above this, that becomes an inversion. Look at the bodies, never breaking that. We accelerate higher. Once again, once we get above this, that becomes a new inversion. So really easy delivery, clean to follow until we got into that buy side. Obviously, we reached pretty high up into that aggressively. I'm not really sure what on the... I'm sure there's something over there. Don't really matter too much, to be honest. But now we're pulling back into that range. So overall, clean day, beautiful day. Hardly any drawdown, and pretty quick targets were met. Nice to see. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll be back here tomorrow at 9:25 Eastern, and we will see what we can get then. So until then, have a good day, everybody. Oh, sorry, one sec. When you started opening chart today, how did you build a narrative? Right, so I guess I can kind of run you through that. Let's say we were already here. When I came to the chart, it was like here. So I had missed the actual opening itself. I came right when we had broken structure. So now at this moment, when I see something like this, okay, it's also important to actually show you what NQ is doing at the same time. Is this live? It is, okay. That's fine. At the same time that ES had done this, so I see that we had created the YouTube model at 8:30. We break structure here at this low. I see now 9:30, we create the same structure, right? Short-term high cleared, we break structure, clearing a low and leaving a bearish fair value gap. So as I sit down, that's what I see. I now also see, okay, NQ actually ran that high opposed to ES. So that already is giving me confirmation that I can trust this fair value gap. So my narrative coming into the day was, I want to at least see these equal lows be hit. Ideally, these equal lows, because we've put in the reversal. And in the short term, we should target opposing liquidity. I still have the macro understanding of higher prices, but in the short term, my attention went to these lows here and this low because it's too clean. We have put in the reversal. We're holding it and confirming it while also creating SMT with NQ, right? So you see everything that's coming along. Once we actually held that now, so as I said, once we actually showed, so I'm watching price here. Once I see this candle close, we wick into it, we close underneath. I fully trust that this fair value gap will hold us. So that's when I set my entry like this, stop above consequent encroachment of that candle, targeting, as you saw, right, these equal lows. And then from there, that's when we got entered. So price returns into our entry, taps us in, breaks structure at that point, right? We're already confirming bearish structure. I'm just trying to follow it. But ultimately, I guess that doesn't matter too much at this point, because then you see, right, kind of what plays out. So early narrative was bearish into equal lows, but I understood that we still were inside this daily fair value gap. And if I have a macro understanding of buy side liquidity, right, I want to see higher prices on the daily, then the daily inversion should offer support, which is what I was waiting for. So once we clear all the sell side liquidity, I'm waiting for an indication that price wants to continue higher. That first comes here when we create this inversion. It then comes here again when we create that volume imbalance, and then especially when we leave that daily fair value gap again. So now I understand, okay, daily fair value gap will hold us as support. This move lower was simply to, right, pick up some sell side liquidity before we continue with our bullish delivery. And that's what we got. So yeah, a lot goes into it. Right, eventually it kind of becomes simple. Like if I'm being completely honest, what I just explained to you, I don't necessarily think about that as I see this. Like when I'm looking at this chart, if I'm being completely fair, when I first look at it, all I see is this YouTube model off the 8:30 open, and I trust that this will hold. But I trust that because my subconscious understands that, okay, we have SMT, we've already accelerated, we have equal lows here and here, right? We have high impact news coming and prices already displacing lower, which means news is most likely going to be a continuation of that displacement. So all of this is coming together rather quickly. But now we'll leave you with that. So as we said, we will be back. I like this fair value gap. Just look at this here quickly. Low, high, lower, low, broken. Breaker block paired with the fair value gap should be a pretty strong area of support if we want to go higher. So if we kind of give you some sort of buy signal here, I wouldn't mind actually taking that into highs again. But I'll be done for the morning. Might come back in the afternoon and see what we get. But we'll stream again tomorrow morning at 9:25 Eastern. So until then, everybody, final goodbye. Have a good afternoon, and we will talk tomorrow morning. Take care.